Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and today we're going to be talking about the American Battleship Event. Now, this isn't the first time I've talked about one of these preview events, and the title of this video is, of course, the USBB event is kinda silly. I will admit, though, it's not as silly as some prior events, but most of my critiques, honestly, are just some communication critiques. Because a main issue that I and several other players that I know had is that the way Florida was going to be released was never really clarified. It was mentioned in the patch notes that you could get Florida in the USBB event, but when the patch went live, myself included, among other people that I knew, were waiting to see if Florida was going to become available on the store, or if we were going to have to go through the USBB event to get her. So we waited and waited and waited. I mean, of course, I didn't get home from work till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or I think I actually got home at like 4 that day. And Florida was not on the premium shop as of Central Time around 3 o'clock or 3:30, whenever I got home. It wasn't on, and I'd been at work all day. So, myself being who I am, of course, I willed the event to get the Minnesota to review and the Florida to review. And in order to do that, I had to spend around $100 and so buying doubloons to buy the random bundles in the event. Now, the random bundles in the event, they aren't... I'm more okay with the way they've been doing them recently, with the allowing you to at least see what you are going to get before you spend money on it. That way, you can just do 1 or 2 bundles, and when you look at what's coming up next, you can go, yeah, I think I'll stop there, rather than just the blind boxes that give you that a glimmer of hope that, okay, maybe one more, maybe one more, maybe one more. And I get you still have a bit of that there because, the next one, you don't know what that one is, but, you have an idea of what's coming immediately next, at least. That being said, I still think the way they've been handling preview events recently is a little not fantastic. The British Heavy Cruiser event was the last time I said, okay, this is a pretty good event, because you had a free way to get, and you do have a free way to get these bundles. You can, actually, no, you can't, my bad. You have a free way to get the ships, but it's one heck of a grind, really. You have to grind out the directives to do that, and honestly, the directives aren't that bad. This first set you get 20 days to do them, the next set you have 13 days to do them, and then the set after that you have 6 days to do them, which is the final set. And none of these directives are too challenging. Some of the last might be challenging for players that can't get on like every day of the week and do, like with the last one, just like get 20 million potential damage done. Honestly, in a tier 10 battleship, that's maybe 5 battles, which isn't that much. That's, just part of an afternoon, really. But again, for those players that don't get on that much, it is a bit of a pain. Anyway, so back to the Florida. So to get the Florida, you have to go through the I forget what they call these ranked bundles, or continuous bundles, or whatever they are, sequence bundles, however you want to call them. You have to go through these bundles, and like the first 3 are just like camouflages. You get camouflage signals, then you get the Kansas Gold Eagle camouflage, which is a permanent camouflage and does look pretty good. I will give them that. Then you gotta go through another camouflage signals bundle that's not permanent camouflages, there's temporary camouflages. It's, I think, the shark camouflage, and then the stars and stripes camouflage, and then you can get the Florida as the 6th bundle. And by that time, you've had to dish out in excess of, I think, good God, like 30,000 of these. What were they called? These USA tokens, American tokens. You've had to dish out a good dosage of these American tokens to get the Florida. So that's what I did, and that's what several other people did that I know. And they released Florida on the premium shop around, I think it was like 5 p.m. Eastern was when it was on the shop. Now, it could have been on the website before that, because sometimes ships will appear on the actual game's website before in the premium shop in game. So if that was the case, then that's on us for not checking. But you know, it was assumed that since the ship wasn't on the website by like midday, that it was just going to be one of those things you had to get in a bundle in order to get. So that happened. But overall, the event, it is kind of silly that they do events of this level for tech line ships that will be free for everybody within a couple of months. And when I mean a couple of months, I think, no, yeah, a couple of months, because we've got part 2 next patch. And I don't get, you're breaking up an event for 3 ships. Full lines, I can kind of understand that, but for a split, where you have access to 2 of the ships in part 1 of the event, but you're saving the tier 10 for part 2 of the event. Like, I don't get why they do part 1 and part 2, especially on like a split. Like full lines, I can understand that, but on a split, like, come on, just have it all in one part, unless the Vermont's just still undergoing balancing changes and stuff. With like the Petropavlovsk, I can get that, because that ship had a very interesting development cycle. But for like ships that are to the point to where you're putting the tier 8 and the tier 9 out, but you're still working on the tier 10 now, really? But anyway, if this event was like the only way to get these ships, then yeah, it would be incredibly scummy and incredibly bad, in my opinion. But since this isn't the only way to get these ships, and you can get, I imagine, probably pretty high up in the sequential bundles or whatever they're called, just by grinding out the directives, and you can't get the Kansas just by doing the directives. So you can get the tier 8 where the split starts by just playing the game, really. The last set of directives might be a bit more challenging for those of us that can't get on every day of the week and play for more than a couple hours on the weekdays. But you can't get the Kansas, which is where which is where the split starts. And I guess maybe they're trying to get these ships out there a bit more, because so many people do have a negative view on them because of their speed and their reload time. Although the Kansas doesn't have that problem. It does have the speed problem though, but not the reload time problem. But from what I can say, from what I've experienced with the Minnesota, they're surprisingly good. Again, my Minnesota First Impressions review is out if you want to check that out. And I've heard the Kansas is actually really, really, really good, because it is literally, again, a Montana at tier 8, but it doesn't have the 40-second reload that the Minnesota has. But anyway, guys, that's what I think about the American Battleship Event. Overall, it's if I had to put it in terms of silliness, it's far below the Azure Lane, but still, the way they handled the British Heavy Cruiser event, where they had the two choices for the random bundles, where you could use doubloons, or you could use the the Royal Navy tokens, or whatever they were. You could use those to get the bundles, but now, instead of using the tokens to get the bundles, you use the tokens to get the rewards that you should have gotten in the bundles that used to be like the Royal Navy Cruiser event. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird that, and again, with all these these really grinding resources they keep adding to the game for each like patch or whatever, it's like, grind this now, grind this now, grind this resource now. It's kind of, it gets old pretty quickly, and I am not a big fan of that. I at this point, it's like, just go back to the containers, where we can just grind directives to get a couple of containers and maybe get a chance at getting a preview ship, rather than having to put this huge grind wall in front of us and say go for it. Like the German CV event, where you could just with the containers, here's some directives, grind some containers, you might get a chance of getting a preview of these tech line ships, enjoy, rather than, again, here's this resource, grind it out. That's the only way you can get a preview of these ships. And again, all these ships are going to be free. They're tech line ships. So, like I've said in the past 2 videos, don't spend any money on the event. There's no point in it, unless you want the Florida. In that case, just buy the Florida. It's on the premium shop now for only $40, and I do recommend you buy the Florida. It's a pretty good ship. But yeah, anyway, again, wrapping up, that's my viewpoint on this event. It's a bit silly, but again, you'll be able to get everything that this event offers, except for, of course, the Golden Eagle camos, unless you just really want those for free within a couple of patch cycles, I do believe. But anyway, guys, that's what I think about this. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 20,000 subs. We just passed 17,400, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.